So what do we need to do prior to actually closing, like the closing and the settlement and the documentation that's necessary to transfer title and ownership of the apartment complex? So prior to the closing, we will always secure what's called a builder's risk policy. The builder's risk policy, as it says, is for us to do any repairs that we choose to in the property, um, securing us from various liabilities, loss, theft, things of that nature. That's on top of our regular insurance, which I'll talk about in a second. We'll also implement a general liability, which is the next policy. It's an umbrella policy for the property. That's all encompassing, hence umbrella. And that gives us the insurances and the protections to operate and execute with one of the assets. The next thing that we would always do is a title policy and insurance on that title policy. Um, that's absolutely required prior to closing. To take it granular, not knowing anybody's understanding of how you transfer ownership of real estate. It's a transfer of title. The title needs to be what's called marketable, meaning that there are no challenges with ownership going back, so that we don't ever get in a situation where somebody pops up and says, hey, you don't own this legally, right? So we buy insurance and we do a title search before we take that asset down. Once that's covered, then we can move forward as well. A property survey is requested and will be completed. Obviously, we need that. We want to make sure that all property lines are right. There's no encroachments. There's no challenges going forward there. And our attorney, our legal team, will obviously take care of all of those legal documents. So the attorney will look over the title policy, will look over the surveys, will look over the nuts and bolts, if you will, of transfer and ownership of one of these assets going forward. So that's a big part of the closing process. Also, if there is any, and I say if there is, because not in every property we take down do we go straight into construction. But if there is a repair strategy, kitchens, bathrooms, some exterior, whatever it is that we've decided to do with the asset to make it more valuable, then we will go over all of those construction plans, with the goal being this, is that on the day that we own the asset, that next day we actually start work on the property. So we line all of that paperwork up and permitting, etc. Hopefully prior to closing. Doesn't always happen, but it's definitely a powerful strategy to be able to do that, because as soon as we get going on one of these things, it's the old adage of time is money. So we take that very, very seriously. So that's the process of closing. Title insurance, umbrella insurance for the property, builder's risk insurance for the work that we do there, and then our legal team viewing all of that documentation and making sure that we're in a good position going forward. Okay.